just by becoming aware of your breath, naturally it starts to deepen. And it will tell you so much because, like Cory said, your breath is like a mirror for your life. So if you pay attention to that, there's a lot of things that can get reflected back to you.
There's tons of science, especially in Europe, that shows that like your emotions and your breath are intimately linked. It's like a two-way street. So most people, how they're operating is based upon how they feel, and feelings are great. But sometimes if your life's not going well, or you have these areas of your life that are not going well, your emotions can actually betray you and you can get really stuck. And so your emotions then impact your breath.
Welcome to the Biohacked Method. I am Lindsey, and every week I break down the science, cut the fluff, and hand high-performing women the real tools like peptides, transdermal patches, quantum energy, and root cause biohacking to actually feel like themselves again. Let's get into it.
Welcome back to the Biohacked Method podcast. I am so excited today. You guys are in for a treat because I have Jess and Cory, the healing couple, with me. We're going to dive all into biohacking from an energetic perspective, utilizing breathwork. And if you've ever heard of the word breathwork, or maybe you've never heard of the word breathwork, actually, I did my first breathwork session in December last year and had a serious somatic release. And something I keep talking about is how we are more than just a physical body, right? You can do the perfect diet, the perfect exercises, but you may still be missing really a big piece of your system, which is that spiritual system, that energetic system that is really keeping you where you're at, which could be emotionally stuck, physically stuck. And until you start tapping into that and coming home to your body, utilizing tools like breathwork, which is so powerful, you really are missing like that vitality piece. So Jess and Cory, welcome to the Biohacked Method podcast. I'm so pumped you're here. We've actually been working on this podcast for a while. We've been like trying to plan it. And it was ultimately needing to be at the perfect time, which is today. And so thank you so much for being here.
We're so happy to be here. It's happening, baby.
Oh my gosh, it's happening. And I wish all of our conversation leading up to this was recorded because it's been so powerful. Okay. But I'd love to start with first, what is both of your story? How did you get into breathwork? And also what is breathwork?
Mm-hmm. That's a great question. I'm gonna take you back real quick to November of 2009. I was in college at the time and I was constantly go, just grinding, very stressed out, very anxious. And I was really pushing my body to the limits because I thought that's what you have to do in order to be successful, right? You just keep going and you keep pushing. And it was so much so that it caught up to me in November of 2009 when I had my first grand mal seizure. It was my body's way of telling me to wake the F up. Because I had been ignoring the signs for way too long. Fast forward a couple months, I had another seizure. And then I had another one. So I got a number of tests done and got diagnosed with epilepsy in 2010. And it wasn't until 2011 when I say that breathwork found me, because I didn't know that there were really any other answers other than medication, which was what I was put on immediately. And I was told, you're taking this for the rest of your life. And I just became dependent on these drugs. And I was dealing with a lot of brain fog, all these other side effects. But I thought that's my only answer. And that's just how my life is going to be from now, moving forward. There was no conversation about my stress levels, my sleep, my lifestyle, even though the doctor said it was because of sleep deprivation and high stress. But again, no conversation around any outlets to manage that. It was just take this pill, keep going. And when breathwork found me, I was pretty skeptical. I went to imagine I'm a junior in college, right? I'm like, I just want to party and study and like just get good grades.
I am breathing.
But I had a lot of friends that were like, you should really try this, because they saw how stressed I was and I saw how calm they were. I was like, there's something to this. I was so in my head the first time. It was a practice called Sudarshan Kriya. And I was like overthinking it. And I came out and I was like, I feel kind of better. But I remember people sharing such powerful experiences, how free they felt and how light they felt. And I was like, wow, damn, like, okay, I need to try this again. And I came back the second day because I was really considering not coming back. This was a 5-day workshop. And I was like, okay, I'll give this a shot. I came back and I just went all in. I was like, I'm just going to go all in and see what's on the other side. And that's when my whole life changed. I finally felt for the first time true joy from within, because up until then, I was focused on making other people happy or what other people wanted, or what I thought they wanted, the grades, the accolades, all the achievements, all the things that I was chasing, quote unquote success. And I was like, oh, I can feel that from within me. I don't need all of this stuff. And I just started laughing and laughing and laughing. I was like, oh my gosh, this is what true joy feels like. This is how good I can feel. And I realized that for most people, we just don't even realize how good it can get, how good we can feel, how vital and alive we can feel. And from then on, I was hooked. I started teaching it to other people. I was invited back to teach these workshops. And so fast forward, now I'm here with the love of my life, and this is my life's work. And we teach so many people. We've taught tens of thousands of people how to use their breath to tap into how good we can feel and have more energy, have more success. And now we have a teacher training where now we train other people to share this with their clients, share this with their communities.
That is so powerful. So what exactly is breath work? Because I will say, like, from my POV, I was like, I do breathe. You know what I mean? I'm breathing. You know what I mean? So how would you describe to someone who's maybe heard of it, but never tried it or really understand even like the science back of what breath work is and how powerful it is?
Such a great question.
Yeah,
Yes.
I would say the way to think about it is there's a lot of different breathwork techniques.
Yeah.
And I think everyone right now on social media and the internet calls himself a breathwork facilitator, which is great.
Yeah.
There's many different types.
Okay.
So on one end of the umbrella is like pranayama techniques, right? Like gentle box breathing, alternate nostril breathing, like all those types of practices where it's like, it's really meant to just take you down a little bit in the moment. Yeah. Someone honks, like we were driving here in the parking lot and somebody honked at me. It's like, all right, I'm going to come back to my breath. I'm going to count my inhales. I'm going to count my exhales. Yes. I'm going to self-regulate a little bit.
Yeah.
Then towards the center of the umbrella, I would call like fitness or physiological types of breath work. So most people have heard of Wim Hof, right? The Iceman, right? Able to change his physiology based upon his breath, whether it's hiking up Mount Everest without a shirt or getting injected with a neurotoxin and not getting sick, right? Yeah. And so it's like really focused on how can I increase like something called my VO2 max, like my oxygen capacity. So then on the other side of the umbrella is what me and Jessica are really in the business of, which is transformational breath work, long-term journeys to help you really heal from the inside out, to give yourself the space to breathe and then discover what's on the other side. So many people are go, 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 go. Yep. You completely have filled your life A to Z from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. And then you check out and you're literally watching a television, which is telling you someone else's vision for your life. Yep. Like that's what most people are doing. Yeah. And then they don't know what's the food hack, what's the supplement, what's the peptide that I can take to shove in there to hopefully help me a little bit. And I'm not saying that stuff doesn't work, but what we really are in the business of is creating transformational experiences for people to change their lives.
Yeah, I love that. And you know, it's so true because we live in a world of constant consumption, and it could be great consumption. It could be a really inspiring podcast. It could be a really inspiring book or a really inspiring song. Most of us are not creating space for silence and coming home where really all of our inner wisdom and inner knowing, trapped emotions, right? That's where we're going to find it, is in those moments of silence. So much, even for me, like I've really gotten into energetics this year where so many of my downloads come in complete silence. And so many people, I mean, I could listen to 10 books and not even get that download. I could spend $10,000 on a coach and not even get the magnitude of the download from just 10 minutes with myself, right? Yes, yeah. And so when I found you guys, I couldn't wait to dive into breathwork. I'll be honest, I was a little nervous because I heard it is a lot of work. And I was like, well, I just want to relax, but I'm going to go. So my experience at the time, let's see, December, I was at a place in my life where I was getting through pretty well a season of betrayal and some shedding through people in my life. I really started just owning my mission and owning my light and taking up space and really living a life on purpose with, you know, stewardship. And there were people in my life who couldn't handle that expansion. And they became really jealous jealous friends are like some of the worst betrayals, right?
Yeah.
And so I was going through a season of shedding through that betrayal, and I felt good. I felt like I worked through a lot. I was not really feeling heavy about it, but as you know, like emotions can get trapped in fascia. Emotions can get trapped in parts of our body. And so I came to the breath work, and like you, Jessica, I was like, I know in order for me to get this experience, I have to go all in. And so that's what I kept telling myself when I laid down, is I was like, just go all in and trust the process. So I'll tell you, like, even like the first few minutes, my brain was going, are you doing this right? Are you doing this right? Are you breathing right? Are you breathing in deep? Are you breathing in, all the right ways? I don't know if I'm doing this right. And I just kept telling myself, just go all in and just keep going. That was like the main thing that kept like the theme of my inner dialogue. It was like, it doesn't need to be perfect. Just keep going and keep going all in. And it was after some of the somatic, like physical releases you had us do, it was like the last part of the breathwork session, one of your amazing coaches that you guys trained came up to me and like opened up my throat chakra to get in like some deeper breath. And again, I just went all in. And what happened was I just started scream crying. Like I couldn't hold back the tears. Like I actually felt a little embarrassed because of just how much was coming out, and I wasn't prepared for that. And so I like remember grabbing my blanket. Thankfully you had us bring some, and I was just crying into the blanket like a child, like just getting it out. I mean, it felt like I was purging. And it was a huge release. And I went home the next day, and it was like I ran a marathon. Like my body needed just to rest from how much I got out. And it was so powerful and it was so beautiful. And it was like that experience alone, I was like, we need to be doing more of this. We need to be going inward to release and tap into that. And so what would you say, like for someone who's, thinks like breath work is just breathing or just taking deep inhales in, with the work that you guys are doing, like how is it tapping into those deeper levels of like nervous system or I don't know, fascia, whatever it tapped into for me? What is it doing?
So getting back to the whole like 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. and then the television, someone else telling you vision, you filled your life so much that your nervous system has a certain level of homeostasis. It's just at a certain level. And then you're wondering why things aren't changing. Well, there's two aspects to the deep parts of our nervous system, and people have talked about it before, but it's the sympathetic and parasympathetic. Sympathetic is like the stretch. It's like I'm ready to expand my business, right? It's also like, someone just stopped in my car lane and I need to make some evasive maneuver, right? It's there as a part of like action and doing. The parasympathetic's the rest, digest, relax, right? Most people think breath work is about the parasympathetic, but we actually do it through the back door because of this very important principle, which is homeostasis. That's the primary principle of the body, whether it's your breathing habits, your blood chemistry, the pH within your blood, it all has to be maintained at a certain level of homeostasis, right? That's what the body wants. And so how do we get to deep levels of parasympathetic activity, like you were talking about, like just deep sobbing cries, releases, letting go 1,000 pounds of the stress that you were dealing with, probably with that betrayal and everything else that was playing out within your nervous system, stuck in your fascia. We challenge the sympathetic nervous system. This is where I'll die on this hill. The research isn't where I want it to be, but after doing this for thousands and thousands of people, when you lay people down and you do it in the right way and you're ethical and you do it in a safe setting and you challenge someone's nervous system in that way by having them breathe in a very intentional but intense way, you bring them to what me and Jessica like to call as a peak emotional experience. And when the body reaches that level in the right way, what happens is you have a homeostatic snapback effect. So there's homeostasis again. You've pushed yourself way one direction, right? And now your body's going to snap back into the deepest parasympathetic activity that you've probably ever experienced in your life. And now that's a new signal, that's a new baseline, and that's a new place from which the nervous system can play. And so that's what we're doing. We're stretching the nervous system so that it can have a snapback effect, and then your body will notice that difference. And in that, then there's wisdom that comes through, enlightenment, people realizing, oh shit, I need to change my life. I need to get a divorce.
What have
I
been
need to
some-
get married.
Yes.
I need to start a business.
Yeah.
Right? That's where it all comes from.
What has been some of the craziest like transformations that you've witnessed during a breathwork session?
I mean, countless stories. but go
Yeah,
ahead.
I get goosebumps. And of course, like, I don't know, are you religious? Are you Christian?
Yeah, Christian, yeah.
Christian?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'd say that I was very much secular when I started this journey with Jessica, like over 10 years ago, but I've become more and more faith-based, I would say. It's not like if you come to our class, that's not our main goal. That's not our approach, but more and more people are coming up to us unprompted because we don't use God language. We don't, espouse that. It's not like going to church at all. Like we're going to guide you through this breathwork journey, right? And there's going to be visualizations and affirmations and somatic release like you talked about. So many people are now coming up to us and being like, I've read the Bible. I've gone to church on Sundays. This is the most religious experience I've ever had in my entire life. Or I met God. Like I literally saw him, experienced him, had a full-blown conversation. WTF, what was that? Yeah.
So powerful. I also love, someone was sharing with me about her breathwork experience, and she was saying, we come into life, the first thing we have is breath. And then the last thing we leave with is our breath.
Yeah.
And so it's no coincidence that we have so much power in our breath and how it can transform and move us through like just insane things, unimaginable things. So I love that you guys are really like digging into this work and offering this for people and for coaches to like help to then minister this for people. That's amazing. My husband, so he had a different experience than me and he's very curious to know what it's about. So my husband came with me and he's the best. And he right away went into the lobster claw. Yes. So right away, his body tensed up in lobster claw. And I know at a high level, it's about oxygen levels.
Yes.
But I'm curious, like, tell me about what that means.
Yeah. Do you want to take it?
Get into the technique.
Okay. All right. So I like to talk about it two different ways. Like you said, the science, which is the Bohr effect, BOHR, some old white Englishmen discovered that when you have a high oxygen environment in your blood and you don't have enough carbon dioxide, you will not get that oxygen into your tissues. So it's once again, this whole homeostasis balance thing, right? So when you breathe during our reset breathwork sessions, you're going to breathe in a continuous way. You're actually going to be getting a lot of oxygen within your system. I wouldn't call it hyperoxygenating or hyperventilating, but we're getting a higher amount than you normally do. And as a result of that, your CO2 lowers and then you can get cramping because you're not getting that oxygen into the tissues. It's circulating around your blood like crazy, but there's no carbon dioxide because you're probably blowing it off. So that's at a baseline, what we can describe and say. But the thing is, especially being a physician, what you would expect to see is, oh, well, this is just going to happen every time you do this in the same exact places at the same exact time. You're just going to see this consistency, right? Because this is supposed to be the Bohr effect. That's what's happening. That's not what we experience at all. Sometimes people will have 6, 7, 8 sessions with us, and then all of a sudden we're working on worthiness, right? Worthiness within their life, their love life, their business. And then that's when they absolutely cramp up all over the place. And so there's a difference, I think, between the hardcore science and also then the physiology and the trauma that's stuck within people's nervous systems. So one of the things, I wanted to bring up with your husband is he had the crazy cramping in the hands, right? And so we know embryologically that when we're growing inside a mom and we're this tiny little embryo, the tissue, as it begins to replicate and expand, that is our heart, becomes our hands. So you can really think about it spiritually as like our hands are an extension of our heart. Our heart houses a lot of our emotions. And so when people experience cramping that's really intense right off the bat, that also doesn't make sense with the Bohr effect, because Bohr effect should kind of happen like maybe 5-10 minute mark when you really get into it. If it's like right off the bat, it's probably something going on with like a physiological and psychological, spiritual gripping
Yes.
that you have around life. You're like white knuckling it, holding on.
Mm-hmm.
So as breathwork facilitators, we always try to bring that up, because breathwork really, this type of breathwork, it's a mirror for your life.
Yeah.
So if you're experiencing some sort of physical sensation that's really abnormal and also doesn't make sense with the Bohr effect, let's have a deeper conversation about this. And so where are you gripping in your life?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's so powerful. Like, I love this conversation because so many people, including myself, like we just are on autopilot, right? Sometimes. And we're just going and doing and working harder, and we're just like slamming our bodies, right? We're trying we think if this is off, I just need to like eat better or whatever. And it's like having these conversations to ask our body and to slow down and be curious and loving and see what comes up. And just remembering your brain might have moved on from something in your childhood or an experience you had, but the body keeps the score, you know? I even had this experience recently. We did muscle testing with my daughter. I love like all the woo things. I am here.
Go for it.
All of the things.
There's actually a lot of science behind that.
No,
so
I
I've
know.
taken a lot of training with it. It's based upon NASA physicists.
It's incredible. So we did muscle testing with my daughter, and before the practitioner could even do a reading, he was like, she's blocked. There's a blockage. And he like knew it was when she was 5 and her sister was 2, as something scary happened within health. And even though she may have moved on and knows everything's okay, her body is stuck in fight or flight. And so he walked her through a quick, simple practice of breathing. And then even just acknowledging, like going back and acknowledging in your body, like that was scary. And everything is okay. That acknowledgement, how much it can release your cells to get to a place of receptivity and alignment. And then he was able to do a complete reading after that. And so it's funny because since then too, like prior to that, she was experiencing a little bit of anxiety. Since then, she goes, Mom, I feel better. It was really nice to remember that moment that was hard. And I think with like breath work, right, it's that slowing down and tapping in and maybe going back to a moment to reheal that moment that you mentally thought you were okay with, but your body held on to the pain and the trial of it, and to like free you physically.
Oh, that's right.
Go ahead.
I'd love to speak to, there's a client that I'm working with right now. She is an incredible entrepreneur. She's like, I am busy and booked.
A breadwinner.
Right? Yeah. And she's the breadwinner. And she came to me because she was grinding so much. She's like, I overwork, and I'm recognizing that it's an escape. And what I'm escaping and avoiding is really looking at my marriage. And so much so, this is how intelligent our bodies are, so much so that she's starting to get physically ill. That her body is sending her these signals like, you've got to pay attention. And so she's like, okay, I'll try this breathwork thing. And it's given her enough space outside of the busyness of her work and her business and all the hustle and everything that's going on in her marriage to really look within and really listen to what's true for her. And she just came to the conclusion that she is going to be leaving her marriage and getting a divorce. And that is it's very challenging. And she's tapping into her breath to move through that. Right. And so, and it's been a decision that she's been sitting with for like 5 years. Right. But it's finally, she's given herself again, the space. And that's the power of it, right? Like, again, it's the energetic meets the physical.
Right.
It's so amazing. It's like so inspiring to think about how we have so much power in our body's ability to heal itself, and utilizing tools like breath work to literally change your entire biology. You know what I mean? So what about for like the woman who's listening to this, who maybe doesn't have all the breathwork classes available to her, or maybe not really knowing where to start? What would you recommend to a woman like that? That's like, I think I need to start digging into this, but where do I start?
I always say start simple. Don't overcomplicate it, because you're probably someone that already overthinks, overanalyzes. Am I doing it right?
Am I doing it right?
Yes. So start simple. And what I mean by that is start with just becoming aware of your breath. That is a practice in and of itself, breath awareness. And you can do that at any time, while you're washing the dishes, while you're with your kids, while you're driving to work, before a client session, before you hop on a meeting. Close your eyes and just watch your breath. Become an observer of it. How am I breathing right now? Am I breathing fast? Am I breathing slow? Am I breathing deep? Am I breathing shallow? What muscles am I using to breathe? Am I breathing my chest or am I breathing down my belly, right? Because if you're breathing in and out of your chest all day long, that will manifest as chronic stress. And then that has a whole host of, downstream effects. I'm breathing into my belly. I'm tapping into my parasympathetic, right? So it's just noticing that. And just by becoming aware of your breath, naturally it starts to deepen. Yeah. And it will tell you so much because like Cory said, your breath is like a mirror for your life. So if you pay attention to that, there's a lot of things that can get reflected back to you.
Yeah. Well, we can get into a lot of the science of what she's saying too. Cause I used to think, oh, this is kind of weird and hokey, but it's like, there's tons of science, especially in Europe, that shows that like your emotions and your breath are intimately linked. It's like a two-way street. Yeah. So most people, how they're operating is based upon how they feel, and feelings are great. Yeah. But sometimes if your life's not going well, or you have these areas of your life that are not going well, your emotions can actually betray you. Yeah. And you can get really stuck. Yeah. And so your emotions then impact your breath. Yeah. So for someone like her, imagine how stuck her breath was because of how she was living off the emotions of being stuck in the relationship that she was in. Yeah. But the good news is it's a two-way street. So if you start noticing your breath, start recognizing, bring some breath awareness, you start to create some separation between that, and your breath starts to dictate how you feel. Yeah. And I'm sure for people who are even listening to Jessica, she's got such a smooth, sweet, calm voice, right? They're already starting to slow down. The breath is deepening. Maybe you're noticing your stomach start to gurgle a little bit. That's just the beginning of what's possible with your breath. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so powerful. And you guys also have though an online program, right? An online community for people who maybe don't live locally or have access to a local event. So share with us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so this is our online breathwork membership. It's called the Reset Collective. And we started it last year because we recognized that people listening to a podcast or people that, we used to live in San Diego. That's where our business blew up. And people were like, wait, how can I still experience breathwork with you guys if I'm not there? And so we have the Reset Collective where we have monthly reset breathwork workshops, which is our method. And then also a number of other practices. You can just press play and listen to it whenever you need it most. So some of them are, 5 minutes. And then we have the long form journeys, right? So if you want to dive into a 90-minute workshop. So we would love to gift your listeners their first month free. So if you're even feeling an inkling, or even if you're skeptical, I love it. Try it out and just give it 100%, right? Go all in and see how you feel on the other side. You literally have no excuse at this point, right? So first month free, you just use the code BREATHE100. You just go to our website, thehealingcouple.com/events, see when the next monthly one is, join the collective, use BREATHE100. We'd love to have your listeners.
I know it's amazing because I did that one in December and I was like, this is medicine. And then I joined your New Year's one and that was virtual. And so the virtual was a beautiful, sacred environment. And it was so great. Actually, what I did, I was at home, I set up my room, I cleared the energy. Nice. I set up the nice cozy pillow, blankets, eye mask. You can really just embody and really let go because there's no one around, you know what I mean? So what would you say, or what is your practice for breath work? Are you once a day or once a week, some of the more deeper work, would you say?
Well, this year, on January 1st, it was a total download. Do this every single day this year. And I was inspired by him because this was a number of years ago where he did 365. He did reset breathwork, long form journey.
What you did every day for a year.
Wow.
Every day for a year.
Okay, what did that do for you? Was that crazy?
It was so crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know if we have time to describe it, but really started to change the trajectory of my life. At the time, I was working at a clinic in La Jolla 6 days a week, and it's awesome. The clinic was awesome, but it was one of those things where it's 6 days a week and running the IV lab and mentoring and seeing patients and literally driving home, falling asleep in the car a couple times. I don't know how I got into an accident. It's just God intervened, and it was just so burnt out. And it really created the space for me to start making decisions around my life that were more in alignment with me versus other people. Yeah. So, it really changed everything.
That's so powerful and a big commitment, because what they're 90-minute or 60-minute journeys to do the full one.
So the breathworks is about 25, 30 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if you want to come with us, we're going to do a whole workshop. We're going to ask you questions. You're going to connect with everybody. So good. Yeah. So that takes some more time.
Okay, I feel like we could talk for hours. I would love to. I always love hearing stories. I feel like people are very inspired through like storytelling. So I could just sit here and just hear all the crazy transformations you guys have witnessed. So we'll have to do a part 2 for sure. But for those who are inspired by this conversation, maybe they've never tried breathwork before, or maybe they've kind of tried it, but like really looking for like the next level and more support and community, which is so powerful. Where can they find you?
Yes, the best place is to check out our online breathwork membership, the Reset Collective. You get your first month for free with code BREATHE100. All you have to do is just go to thehealingcouple.com/events. Also, if you loved this conversation, there's something that really hit your heart that landed, we would love to hear genuinely. So reach out to us on Instagram at @thehealingcouple_. It'll pop up as Dr. Cory and Jess, and just send us a DM, say hello, and let us know what landed. We love to have these conversations. So we would love that.
That's amazing. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you both for coming. I'm so glad we finally did it.
Yeah, we did it.
Part 2 coming for sure. And that's a wrap for the Biohacked Method podcast. If this conversation lit something up within you, make sure that you are subscribed, because every week we drop episodes, whether it be about quantum energy, biohacking, the physical body, the mental, all of it. So until next time.
That's it for today's episode of the Biohacked Method. If this lit something up in you, share it, tag me at Lindsey Burwell Wellness, and drop a review. It genuinely helps the show reach more women who really need it. I'll see you next time.